Hey guys, what's going on? It's Beatwalker again with another video. So today I'm going to go over some mixing within Ableton. This is going to be mixing for a pre-recorded set that you would typically use for a podcast or for a submission of any type, or any type of guest mix that you'd want to do where you'd send it to somebody and not be live. It could also be used for somebody who doesn't have the capacity to do mixes, i.e. you don't have a mixing board or you don't have CDJs or whatever the case may be. But I've used this for mixes that I've submitted and mixes for podcasts. So this is kind of what I do to go through the steps of preparing it and rendering it. So hopefully this will help you out. And if it does help you out, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe for other videos that may help you out. One of the first things I'd like to do, if it is a house or EDM style mix or even any other type of genre that you want to use, is I use something called Mix and Key. So you may have heard of it, you may have not. What it is it basically analyzes each track for a specific key, and it allows you to match the tracks close to the key, if not exactly the key. So that way the transitions are a little smoother and the keys don't clash with one another. So this is kind of an older version of Mix and Key. Alright, so you'll click add here. And I already have some tracks prepared, so you can just highlight all of them. Click open and they'll come in here and just hit analyze. And again, you can set this depending on what you want to change within the track. You can put the key to the front of the track, you could put it in the back of the track, or you could just put it in the description, however you want to do it. I find it easier to put it before the track. That does get a little messy, so I would recommend that you put them in specific folders if you're going to do that. That way you know what genre you're going into. Once it's done analyzing, you'll see the different keys that I have here, and these are not going to match up perfect, so I just wanted to give you an idea of what I look like if it's a longer mix. Now this is kind of a short mix, so it won't really matter. Alright, so we can just close that. And you can get rid of these MIDI tracks, you don't need them. Alright, we'll just add in some other audio tracks. You really only need a couple because you can reuse these as you go along. Alright, and we will bring in the first song. So it's going to be the David Guetta song. So it's going to be this Black Coffee song. Bring it in there. Tag art song. Bring it in there. And the next one will be Envor, one of my favorite artists right now. And that should work for now. So bring in a couple tracks just to get them started. For whatever reason, these may not pop up right away because they're going to analyze each track. If they don't show up, you can just hit 0 and it'll pop up for you. Okay, so right off the bat, Ableton does a pretty good job of analyzing the BPM of this. So we're just going to take a quick listen. Yeah, so the BPM is pretty much right on, so I'll put the tempo on. And you really will not, especially with EDM songs, you really will not have to mess with the BPM. If you do, the way to do it is just go down here and you could find the beginning point, and then you could just warp from wherever your starting point is. So I typically do it straight and it'll find the points. And if it doesn't find the points, the way I do it is I go to the, depending on what section I want to mix, I'll go to the very end, add a point, and adjust from there to try to get it on. But majority of these songs, if not all of them, are going to be perfect, or if close to it, okay? So, of course, the first track, you're really not going to do much with it. You're going to just let it play. So let it come in. You introduce your podcast. You drop this. If you want, you can kind of keep it low and then bring it in slightly. If you want to do an automation of bringing it in, you could do that. So let's do that. Let's do an automation and bring it in, say 17. Alright, that'll be easier. I do this like bend automation, which is really cool. So you'll hold down Option if you're on the Mac. I'm not sure what key it is on the PC, but you hold down Option and just do a fade in. So once you have this automation, you can now introduce yourself, introduce a track, maybe make it a little lower if you want, it's up to you. And you know, introduce a track and throw in some kind of add words or whatever you want to do with it. But that's really it for the first track. All right, and then you always want to keep, so very important not to keep the decibel level at 0. Keep it below 0 because you want that headroom to be able to allow the next mix to come in and it won't overpower the entire song. All right, so what we're gonna do is just skip over, move this one here. All right, skip some. So this part is a little subjective, but what I'm gonna do is try to find a opening and closing point. It may be called something else, but that's what I call it. So you can notice that this first part of this song is pretty much all intro. Let's see. All right. And then this, the end of this song really doesn't matter because you can utilize the entire intro space to build up to this part. Right, so that's kind of the main push for the next song, or the main that's like the main intro for the next song, so that's what you want to highlight. All right, so that's actually going to be perfect. Now if you were hearing a little bit ago, if you noticed, this track is 123, so it's a little faster than, so actually what we're going to do is 118. Yeah, we're gonna keep it at 120. This is 123, so you'll notice that it's a little off. So what you want to do to keep that from clipping, or you want to take this off Beats and go to Complex Pro and leave this as is. So now the sound is going to be a little better. Notice when I change it to Beats, it has some trouble doing some things because the BPM is just different. And then you always want to pick high quality. I totally forgot to mention that. So pick high quality and make sure your tracks are always in the HQ here. All right, so you can do this one or two ways. You can either, I choose to do both. Some people just lower this all the way down or to a really low level and keep that one in and slowly fade it out. What I find that works pretty well, maybe not this track because it does have vocals already on it, but we'll see how it sounds and then we could try it both ways. So what I'll do is cut this down. We'll go -10 there. All right, and make sure I push this back a little bit so I can grab some of the beginning parts of the kick here. All right, and then this we can start it. Let's try -12. See what that gives us. See what that gives us. Not bad. I think this is a little overboard, so I'm gonna go up to maybe. So I'm gonna go up to 6, -6 ish. If my mouse is cooperating, there we go. All right, so let's bring this down to 18. and see what that sounds like. All right, that's pretty good. So yeah, from here it's really simple. I'll do the bend out and up to, what did I say, -2? -2. And the bend in about right there, and see what we get. All right, so you think that is it, right? And it could be. It's not bad. But the one last thing that I do want to do, this is where it gets a little complicated as well, but not really, is take a EQ3, and what you'll want to do is click the gain low. That way you can set a automation line there. And then you want to bring the automation on the same point that you dropped the volume, and you'll bring it down just a tad. So I'd say about -5-ish. So around 5, not too much, because then you're going to lose a lot of volume with the bass and the kick. But what it's doing is it allows this kick to start coming in without it affecting the total volume. So you'll also want to fade that out, but not dramatically. So probably about -20 dB, and that's pretty much get rid of all of the bass along the way. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so that's the first transition done. I know it's a little bit of work, but it really pays off with how clean the mix is there. And again, you can reuse. So if I wanted to, I can really just reuse, and I'm gonna do that actually. Reuse this entire track. All right, so you want to check and make sure that this one is in the right BPM. Main thing is bring back all the gains. Bring back the level here. That's pretty good. What I just want to do is make sure it's complex and high quality. And I have a pretty easy, let's see. I have a really easy transition here. So this is pretty much going to be the same thing. And I believe I already have the, oh no, I brought the gain up. So I'm going to do this one opposite, and you could flip-flop back and forth, but I'm just going to show you that this is a different variation. So instead of bringing down this bass, or instead of bringing down this bass, what you can do is start this bass low and bring it up. And I'm going to do that probably because it's a little easier, because there's not much room to play with here. So I'll start this again at like -5, along with the volume probably not too low, about -8, and we'll see how that sounds. All right, yeah, so that was a pretty easy one. And again, you're gonna find some that are really easy and some that are very difficult, but for the most part, that is really it. So some of the main things, just lower down the volume in a certain area to bring in the next track. Lower down the gain with the EQ3, or keep the gain low and bring it in high. Keep the volume low, bring it in high. However you want to do it, you can kind of customize each transition how you want, but for the most part, that's really it. And the last part is going to be on the master, just add a limiter. So the parts where you do get a transition that's a little louder, you don't want it to clip there. So that's really pretty much it for mixing here. I'm not going to do the rest of the track because it'll bore you, but you get the idea. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you have any ideas for any other types of videos that you want me to do, let me know below or hit me up on social media at Beatwalker, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. Thanks, guys.